We walk across a thin, fragile crust, oblivious to the void beneath our feet. In some places, the earth opens up, revealing scars that reach into the dark unknown. These fractures pull us downward, challenging our understanding of what lies in the deep. Humanity has always looked to the stars, yet the abyss below remains largely unexplored. From ancient sinkholes hiding prehistoric secrets to industrial chasms swallowing entire landscapes, the planet is punctured by profound depths. Our journey into the subterranean world begins now. If you find yourself drawn to the quiet mysteries of our world, consider subscribing as we descend. We start in the United States with the Kennecott Copper Mine. It is a spiraling amphitheater of gray and rust, carved relentlessly into the Ochre Mountains. Geologists confirm the pit spans 2.5 miles across and drops over 3/4 of a mile into the earth. The mine provides essential minerals for global infrastructure, supporting a robust local economy. Yet this extraction comes with significant environmental challenges, altering local groundwater systems and reshaping the skyline. Looking down into the terraced descent, the sheer scale warps your sense of distance. Often overlooked is the fact that the mine operates its own weather system, trapping temperature inversions within its bowl. The surprise lies in its constant motion, as millions of tons of earth shift daily, making it a living, expanding void. But human machinery is not the only force tearing the earth open. As we look further south, moving to Chile, we encounter Chuquicamata. This vast cavity sits in the arid expanse of the Atacama Desert, a stark testament to industrial ambition. Scientific records show it is one of the largest open-pit copper mines by excavated volume, reaching depths of nearly 3,000 feet. It has historically sustained generations of miners, building a tight-knit desert community. However, the toxic dust and extreme isolation eventually forced the relocation of the entire adjacent town. The abandoned settlement stands silently on the rim, a ghost town gazing into the abyss that consumed its purpose. Some urban planners suggest that the site serves as a modern ruin, warning of unchecked industrial expansion. Interestingly, the pit continues to yield rare copper sulfides that challenge our models of terrestrial mineral formation. While this scar expands laterally, other pits were clawed by bare hands. In South Africa lies the Kimberley Diamond Mine, also known simply as the Big Hole. It is a submerged crater resting quietly against a modern city grid. Historical data verifies it as one of the largest hand-dug excavations on Earth, plunging 700 feet before filling with groundwater. The mine sparked an economic boom that modernized the region and birthed the global diamond industry. Conversely, it left a legacy of exploited labor and severe geological instability in the surrounding bedrock. The dark, placid water at the bottom obscures the true depth of the remaining mining shafts beneath. Archivists note that despite the wealth extracted, the exact number of workers buried in structural collapses remains undocumented. A fascinating twist is that the unique volcanic pipes found here forced geologists to entirely rewrite the science of diamond formation. Yet, deeper geological violence awaits in the frozen north. We turn our attention to the Udachnaya pipe in Russia. Situated in the desolate Siberian tundra, this frozen vortex spirals downward like a geological fingerprint. Core samples dictate that the pit descends over 1,900 feet, intersecting an ancient kimberlite pipe. It has driven substantial economic growth in one of the most unforgiving climates on the planet. But the operation demands a heavy toll, isolating workers in sub-zero darkness for months on end. Vehicle tracks trace the edges like thread, but the bottom is perpetually lost in freezing fog. Logistics experts point out that the diesel fuel required to keep the machinery running here must be winterized to prevent it from turning to gel. Unexpectedly, researchers discovered a pristine, previously unknown mineral trapped within the pipe's rough diamonds. This Siberian isolation hides another, far more menacing crater just a few regions away. Also in Russia is the infamous Mirny mine. It is a gaping, symmetrical maw situated so close to a bustling town that it threatens to swallow the neighborhood's whole. Meteorologists have confirmed that the sheer depth of the pit creates a dangerous downward air current. The mine provided a livelihood for thousands, creating an oasis of civilization in the remote Sakha Republic. But the environmental footprint is stark, leaving behind a scarred permafrost landscape that will never heal. Helicopters are strictly forbidden from flying over the airspace, as several aircraft were inexplicably pulled into the void. Engineers suggest that the temperature differential between the frozen surface and the deep earth creates a powerful vortex. The twist is that the town was built solely to serve the hole, making the inhabitants prisoners to the very crater that feeds them. Landscapes carved by man hold terror, but the ocean conceals entirely different voids. Off the coast of Belize is the Great Blue Hole. It is a perfect sapphire circle, surrounded by the shallow turquoise waters of a vibrant coral reef. Marine geologists have proven this was once a dry limestone cave system that flooded during the last glacial melt. The surrounding reef supports a rich ecosystem and a thriving ecotourism industry. Yet beneath the surface layer, the environment turns toxic, devoid of oxygen and deadly to complex marine life. Scuba divers often report a sudden suffocating silence as they descend past the thermocline. Oceanographers note that the deepest stalactites act as geological clocks, preserving chemical records of ancient climate collapse. The surprise is a thick layer of hydrogen sulfide at the bottom, suspending fallen marine life in a permanent state of preservation. But there are deeper, darker waters where no light penetrates. In the Bahamas, we find Dean's Blue Hole. Enclosed by a tranquil beach and limestone cliffs, it is an inverted funnel dropping suddenly into the dark. Bathymetric surveys measure its plunge at 663 feet, making it the second deepest marine sinkhole known. It is a sanctuary for world-class freedivers who test the limits of human endurance in its calm waters. However, the steep drop-off just feet from the shoreline has claimed the lives of numerous unwary swimmers. The contrast between the idyllic sunlit beach and the immediate crushing blackness below is profoundly unsettling. Local historians report that indigenous lore warns of a creature dwelling at the bottom, a myth likely born from the turbulent tidal currents. Strangely, water samples from the deepest recesses contain microscopic life that thrives entirely without sunlight. Yet, a much larger marine abyss waits in contested waters. We navigate to the South China Sea to locate the Dragon Hole. It is a jagged, deep indigo puncture wound in the ocean floor, isolated within the Paracel Islands. Scientific expeditions in recent years confirmed its depth at 987 feet, establishing it as the deepest blue hole on Earth. Its discovery has galvanized scientific cooperation and sparked new marine biology research. However, its location in highly disputed political waters severely restricts international access and independent study. Submersibles lose communication signals quickly here, as the dense, mineral-rich water interferes with acoustic tracking. Marine biologists suggest that the anoxic depths may harbor prehistoric bacterial strains that have evolved in isolation. The twist comes from the lack of tidal exchange, meaning the water at the bottom has remained stagnant and undisturbed for millennia. While the ocean hides its depths, the desert burns with a different kind of secret. In Turkmenistan, we stand before the Darvaza Gas Crater. Known to locals as the Gates of Hell, it is a blazing cauldron of orange fire set against the bleak Karakum Desert. Geological surveys detail that a Soviet drilling rig collapsed here in the early 1970s, puncturing a natural gas cavern. It has inadvertently become a unique tourist attraction, bringing brief flashes of global attention to a reclusive nation. But the ceaseless burning wastes vital natural resources and pollutes the surrounding desert atmosphere. At night, the glow can be seen for miles, casting long, erratic shadows that seem to dance along the dunes. Energy sector analysts speculate that the initial decision to ignite the gas was a desperate miscalculation that engineers assumed would burn out in weeks. Astonishingly, extremophile bacteria have been found surviving in the searing, methane-rich soil at the crater's edge. Yet fire and water pale in comparison to a hole dug purely in the pursuit of knowledge. Our final descent brings us back to Russia, to the Kola Superdeep Borehole. Hidden within the Arctic Circle, a heavy, rusted metal cap is bolted to the concrete, sealing away the deepest artificial point on the planet. Scientific drilling records confirm the shaft dropped 7.5 miles into the Baltic Shield. This unprecedented endeavor expanded our understanding of the Earth's crust, revealing subterranean water deeper than previously thought possible. Ultimately, the project collapsed under severe economic pressure and insurmountable physical constraints. The silence at the abandoned research station is heavy, disturbed only by the howling Arctic wind moving through ruined buildings. Seismologists expected to find a neat transition of solid rock, but instead hit a layer of fractured boiling granite that behaved like plastic. The true surprise is that at 7 miles down, microscopic plankton fossils were discovered perfectly intact beneath the intense pressure. The drill could go no further because the Earth itself began to melt the equipment, forcing humanity to stop. These 10 profound depths remind us that our world is mostly an impenetrable frontier. We build our lives on a thin surface, rarely questioning the dark, silent expanses waiting below. What other ancient mechanisms and hidden ecosystems lie dormant, waiting for the crust to crack? If you found value in this exploration, leave your thoughts below and subscribe for further journeys into the unknown.